The purpose and function of the Jacksonville Beach Special Magistrate hearing in accordance with Florida Statutes Chapter 162 and the City of Jacksonville Beach Code of Ordinances is to reach an equitable expedition to enforce the codes. The city presents the violation and evidence to the special magistrate. Next, the property owner is sworn in response to the violation and/or evidence. Both the city and the property owner may call witnesses to provide sworn testimony relevant to the case. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, not a public forum. Individuals not called as sworn witnesses will not be heard. Will you please raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
And please state your name and title for the record.
Nikki Beavers, Jacks Beach Code Enforcement Officer.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the record, my name is Wayne Flowers. I serve as special magistrate for the city of Jacksonville Beach. In a moment, Ms. Beavers will call the cases that are on the calendar today. I received testimony from her about the violations that are listed on the calendar, and any of the folks here who have testimony to give regarding those alleged violations, you will be heard, you'll be sworn, and given an opportunity to testify. So with that, Ms. Beavers, which case will we start with?
Being that Mr. Sheffield is not here, we're going to skip down to B. That is David Merritt, case number 19108 for 1339 Pinewood Road.
All right, and I see that Mr. Merritt is here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, why don't you proceed, Ms. Beavers?
Mr. Merritt was originally cited for a nuisance in regards to the property at 1339 Pinewood. It was ordered that the demolition be completed of the property within 14 days of our last hearing. And that order was executed on March 2nd. Mr. Merritt did come into compliance with the nuisance of demoing the property within that time frame. So I do want to bring the case as complied. I've already spoken with his sister, Melissa, to let her know of the additional violations that were on the property in regards to the other debris that was still left there. But it had nothing to do with the demolition.
Okay, and just for the record, the order required that the demolition occur by March 8th, 2021. And what I'm hearing from you, Ms. Beavers, is that the demolition in fact did occur. There's some other issues that will be addressed separately that
Correct.
are ongoing. Okay. Mr. Merritt, do you have anything that you want to say today?
Yes, sir. Okay, well, like she stated, demolition was done on time, what I was told to last time. Now, she brought me up on charges why the demolition was going on, stating there was trash on the property. I had a demolition come in there tearing down a house. Of course there was trash. Okay, that's why I'm here today, is because of the trash during the demo. Okay, that's been dropped. Now she came with a new case last week. I hadn't served papers, and had a phone call.
We're not here to, that's not on the calendar today. The only thing that's on the calendar today is whether you comply
Yes, sir, I
with the
did.
demolition order.
But why I'm here today is a new case that she just came up with last week. This has nothing to do with the case she brought me up on last month. She brought me up on this case why I'm doing demo on the house and there's trash on the property. There was 4 dumpsters there. A friend I hired a company to tear down the house. Of course there was trash.
Mr. Merritt, again, that's not, I understand your concern about it, but that's not before me today. It may or may not be on the calendar in the future, I don't know. So I can't rule, I can't give you advice on.
Well, what's today? Okay, the reason I'm here today, the original paperwork was about that. That got dropped, so I shouldn't be here today. Why I'm here today now is new charges she just came up with last week.
No, we're here for the demolition. We just complied.
Okay, we're compliant, okay.
Yeah, we're compliant with that. The property, as far as the structure that was there, everything from that structure has been cleared. So your case is compliant today.
Okay.
So what you're referring to is separate.
Okay, well, I was told by you that if I complied, I would not have to be here today. You talked to my sister today, and she said you still want me to show up for the new complaint.
That's not what she asked was the case still on the docket today? And I told her yes.
Okay,
But
so
as far as
we're all-
her saying that you had to be here, we didn't have that discussion.
Okay,
Okay?
yes, ma'am.
All right,
So we're all clear.
yes.
Yes, sir.
As far as this.
We're clear as far as what I have before me today.
And if you have issues with what's on the program, you can give me a call, I'll take care of it.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
All right, Ms. Peters? So with regard to Mr. Barrett, I will enter an order finding that compliance was achieved on or before March 8th of 2021.
Correct. Okay. Moving on. And this was all in regards to Mr. Garrett. Okay. All right, our next case, and Mr. Hanna is here today, so we'll go ahead and move to C, and that's case number 21-282. And this is in regards to a home occupation for 134 36th Avenue South. Mr. Hanna has been notified that a home occupation is not valid at the property at this time. An application was submitted back in 2008. It has not been renewed, which is required to be renewed each year. We have documentation where from the DBPR, Sunbiz, where he is listing the home occupation, the business address as his own address. Mr. Hanna did give a separate address in Ponte Vedra. I did an inspection at that location. At that location, it was a retail space. There was no evidence that Mr. Hanna is subleasing that particular address at this time. It was a retail space.
So what you're telling me is that his business license lists his home address as the business address?
Correct.
But I think I heard you say that what did you say about a retail space?
The address that he gave me at 820.
It's not a retail space?
You're going to get a chance to
Okay.
talk. You're going to get a chance to talk.
Sure.
Just hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, the address that he gave me at 820 North A1A, Ponte Vedra Beach, Florida, is the address for Natural Life Collections. I did speak,
Address for what? I'm sorry.
it's for Natural Life Collections.
Natural
Life.
Life Connections.
Collections. And so this is the address at 134, which is Mr. Hanna's home address. The address that he gave me in Ponte Vedra, this is
For the
Natural Life.
record, Ms. Beavers is showing photographs. The photograph she's showing now, is this the Natural Life Collections?
Yes. This is the inside, the picture to the right is the inside of that address. This empty desk right here is the desk that the person I spoke with was Lisa Wad. She stated that this is the space where Mr. Hanna works from. And as stated before, there was not a business license posted there, and there's no proof that he is subleasing this space.
And what is the address at this location?
820 North A1A, Ponte Vedra Beach, and that is 32082.
Okay, do you have anything else?
Yes, 1 second.
Did-
So based off of code states is that, in the intent of this division to allow for and regulate establishment of a home occupation in a residential neighborhood, it is also the intent of the division that the operation will be regulated in a manner to ensure that the average neighbor will be unaware of its existence. So the original complaint that came in was that there was some snipe signs that were out in the front yard at the time. By the time I went and did the inspection, the snipe signs were not in the yard, but then I did a little bit more research, and that's when we came up with what was listed on DBPR and on any type of license that he held with that address, with the home address on it.
Did you speak with Mr. Hannah?
I did speak, he did come to the office, and he stated that his home address was not his place of business, and he stated that 820 North 818 in Ponte Vedra Beach was his business address. But that address is not listed, and under the Florida statute, it states that he must provide to the DBPR the physical address of the business. And the physical address of the business that he listed to the DBPR was his home address.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. Mr. Hannah, would you like to speak?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to be sworn.
All right, what do I need to do?
Kind of stand back from that microphone because it's ringing.
Hi, if you could please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
And if you could please state your name and address for the record, please.
Mike Hanna, Hanna Builders, I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying that. Mike Hanna, 134 36th Avenue South.
All right, Mr. Hannah.
So, first, I'm going to try to keep my cool because this is an absolute joke, but had you spoken to me in a personal manner, just a friendly manner, all of this would have been explained. So, when I first started my business back in 2006, maybe, I can't remember exactly when it was a home-based business. And then I became friends with a gentleman who had a furniture shop on Shutter, and I changed my business address to his office because we were doing a lot of work together. So that's when I changed my business address.
2006?
2000, that was in 2008, maybe? 7, I don't remember the dates. So as far as not changing my physical place of business on DBPR or sundays.org, I mean, to me that's superfluous. That doesn't mean anything. It's just words on a piece of paper or words on a computer screen. If they need to change to make everybody happy, then they'll change. Sundays.org has already changed. So fast forward, my friend went out of business, and so my office was not there anymore. Around the same time, I met Natural Life Collections, and I built out a retail store for them at the Avenues Mall. And that started a relationship where I ended up running that retail store. That was back when the building business was not as booming as it is now. That was 2012. I was then hired on as an employee of Natural Life Collections. And when they found out, that I had all these other talents besides building, I became a part-time employee where I was running the retail store and running my business. I don't know. I mean, this is really just funny. So I've got tax returns from 2012 to 2020 right here that shows that I'm an employee of Natural Life Collections. I'm looking at the W-2, Natural Life Collections. I'm happy to show these to you. I prefer not to have records of them photocopied, but they're right here. I used to have an office when they were on Southside Boulevard across from the Avenues Mall. They had, 55,000 square feet over there. And when I started working for them, I ended up having an office over there. I was doing all their office build outs, investment real estate, construction for the owner. When we moved to the beach, my office moved with them. As a single business operator, keeping up with words on a computer screen, words on a piece of paper, to me, it doesn't matter. It just matters where my office is. So around 2015, maybe 14, 15, my office moved down to Montevideo. I used to have my own private office in there, but Natural Life has grown significantly, and so I had to give up my private office. So I now occupy a desk, a random desk in the office, and it changes from time to time. Natural Life has grown. It's now the second largest female-owned business in the entire city of Jacksonville. So space is at a premium in their office. And being an in-house contractor for them, I float desk to desk. I'm in this very beginning process of building the first of 3 oceanfront homes for the owner. So if you really want the truth of the matter, my office is my 2006 F-350 out there that drives around the city. For the next 6 years, I'll be parked on Ponte Boulevard building houses. So if it's words on a piece of paper, words on a computer screen that you want changed, I'm happy to change them. But what I will not do is I will not apply for a home-based business because I do not have a home-based business. It's not your job to tell me what my reality is. The reality is I'm an in-house contractor for Natural Life Collections. I have tax returns from dated 2012. I have an office there. I have a desk there. The desk changes. They rearrange their offices literally every 2 weeks, and so I never know where a desk is going to be available. The owner just bought a commercial, 10,000 square foot commercial building on the corner of Solana and A1A, and they're going to turn it into a coffee shop, and they're in the process of getting zoning changed, and I'll be building that out. So I'm in charge of literally tens of millions of dollars of real estate construction for the owner of the company. So to say that I don't have an office there is really offensive. And also to clear up Natural Life Collections, it's not a retail store. It's not. There's no such thing as a retail store there. It's not even a retail setting. Natural Life is a wholesale company. They produce products and they warehouse them here. They have 60,000 square feet of warehouse on the north side of Jacksonville, and they sell around the country. So that address, 820, is not a retail store. That's their wholesale design center. We used to have a retail store at the town center, which I built out, and there was a 5-year lease from 2014 to 2019, and then we terminated the lease. We didn't renew the lease because the owner bought the place on corner of Solana and A1A. We're going to move everything out here to the beach. So, I don't know what to say, but you guys, I can't keep you from doing whatever you want to do, whatever you think is the reality of the thing. But what I can guarantee you is I'm not going to apply for home-based business because I don't have a home-based business. I'm not trying to be curt. I'm not trying to be smart. That's just the matter of fact. I mean, I'm happy to, right here. I'm here.
What you got? So you're saying that these prove that you're an employee
I'm an
of...
employee at Natural Life Collections.
Correct. You can have a seat back there.
I try to put them all on the top. And had you spoken to me in a cordial manner, you would have known all this.
Well, you can just hold on, and this is not personal. I'm trying to find facts
It's
here. So if you cool the personal comments, I appreciate it. So you're telling me that the only income you receive is the income you receive from Natural Life Collections?
No. So part of the agreement with Natural Life Collections is they can't afford to pay me a full-time salary for what I make being a builder. So the agreement is I can run my Hannah Builders out of my office down there. Now, if the qualifications of a home-based business is that I sleep at my house and I eat at my house and that I answer phone calls from customers in my house, well then there's a lot of people that have home-based businesses. But I don't know what you are trying to tell me is a home-based business. I have an office. I could list Pakistan as the location of my business, and it's perfectly legal.
Do you have a website?
I do.
What does it list as your address?
It probably lists my mailing address. My
What is your
home
mailing address?
I haven't touched my website in 11 years.
Okay. Well, I'm just asking you a question.
Yeah, it's probably lists my home address. I haven't touched my website. Look at the picture of me and my son. My son is now 18 years old. I haven't touched my website and I don't even know how to turn it off. I programmed it through Yahoo's do-it-yourself thing. I don't even know how to turn it off. I want to turn it off because I've not gotten $1 of business from my website. So if it's literally,
Can you give me a second?
yeah.
You've heard from Ms. Beavers that which I assume is your contractor's license, shows your business address as your home address.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, because the ordinance says that one of the things that you cannot do with a home occupation is list your home address as the business address.
Okay,
So by listing your home address on all these documents as your business address, those are indicia that you're doing business with it.
Okay, so I leave my house at 6:30 to 7:15 every day. I get home past 6 o'clock. You tell me when I'm running out of my home. If you want me to change those, for the last 5 years, I throw them away once they're expired. The St. John's local business tax, that's my place of business. If you want me to change the address on DVPR, which I haven't done, I don't even know how to do that. If you want me to change on my web, I'll change everything. If it's words on a piece of paper you want changed to satisfy it, I will be happy to do that.
Is that your occupational license?
Yeah, this is for St. John's County. I have a customer here, Mona Citron. I'm doing an addition for her. She overheard me speaking on the phone. She's here to defend me. My accountant is here. I honestly don't know. The only thing that you have is literally words on a computer screen. And if those need to change, they will change. What really matters is where I'm conducting my business.
Well, let me just ask you this question. If in fact this is your business address, A2818, why do you list your business address on these other official
Because it
sources?
doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do anything. I've never gotten any business from anybody who looks up and says, oh, his address is here. My mailing address is all that matters. I can have a mailing address anywhere. It's not illegal to have my mailing address at my house, even though Nikki said it is. It's not. I can have my mailing address anywhere.
Wayne, can I?
Hold on a second. I'll get back to you. Let you finish.
Yeah. So why would I have my mailing address at all these different places when they've changed often? When I just have my mailing, all my mail comes to my house. I get all my bills. Twice a week I take them to my accountant. They pay all my bills.
Do you, Ms. Beaver said that there was a complaint that there were signs in your front yard.
Yeah, that's another thing. What is a snipe sign?
Those are the signs that go down into the ground.
Essentially, a sign that's stuck in the ground that has, your business
It's
name on it,
advertising.
or call me if you want to build a house or something like that.
And as I stated.
When did you see that?
As I
She
stated.
did not say she saw it.
Oh, I
She
thought you
said
said
it was
she saw it.
reported to her, and that's why she first investigated. I'm asking you, have you had signs in your yard?
No. So I've never had, not one customer has ever stepped foot inside my house. Not one. Since I started my business.
That wasn't the question.
No, I understand. Never. So I've never had a sign in my yard advertising business. Back in 2010 maybe, I put a for sale sign in my yard that had my home address because business tanked and I thought I was going to have to move. But that lasted about 3 months and I took it out. So I would like to know who said that because I've never had a sign advertising business in my front yard. Ever. I've lived in that same house since 2000. I've lived in Jacksonville since 1998. Never once has there ever been a sign that advertises business in my front yard.
And as I spoke with you before, when we met before,
Okay,
I told
let's
you.
hold on.
I'm allowed to know who said there was a
I was going to
sign.
explain to him as far as the complaint, when I spoke with him about the sign and about your vehicles. And remember, we had the conversation as far as them being parked in the front, that they could not be parked in the front.
Correct. So the only complaint is that I have a motorcycle trailer, and it's in the, here's how all this started. There's a gentleman whose mother used to live 2 doors down, and she was selling her house, and he's in his 30s, and he's a journeyman electrician, and he travels all around the Southeast as a journeyman electrician, and he lives in a travel trailer because he's usually working on industrial sites that are remote, and it's a common business where people do that, and workers do that. So he lives in his travel trailer on a campground for, I don't know, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, however long the job is going. When the job is not, when he doesn't have a job, he comes back to Jacksonville and parks it somewhere. Well, 2020, with this virus thing going on, he had no work. So he spent the better part of 2020 parked in his mother's driveway. And the lady who lives across the street, Ms. Johnson, who I suspect is the one that complained, she's been complaining about me since I moved into the house. And the last 4 code enforcement people have always said to her, to Ms. Johnson, look, Mike's a nice guy, just go talk to him. If you have a problem with whatever's wrong with his yard or house, which is, I tell you to drive by it. It's beautiful. It's one of the best looking houses on the street. So Ms. Johnson complains about the travel trailer that's in this lady's driveway across the street from me, or 2 doors down from me, same side of the street as me, because it's literally right across the street. So he comes down, the gentleman that owns the travel trailer, and says, hey, did you call and complain about my travel trailer? I'm like, why would I call and complain about your trailer? And so I tell him it's probably Ms. Johnson. Well, lo and behold, it was Ms. Johnson. So she has to come investigate because the complaint has been done. So she talks to the gentleman with the travel trailer, and he says, because he told me this, you know, he's actually looking at me building his house now in Mandarin. He says, don't get mad at me, but I asked the code enforcement, why does he get to have that cargo trailer in his driveway, and I can't have this travel trailer? And I don't know what she thought, but my guess is that she's like, light bulb, let me investigate that. So she types in the address and finds all this stuff that she thinks she found. And that's what opened this can of worms. So, yes, I have a motorcycle trailer. It's now in the backyard. I have a double RV carport in the backyard. I keep everything nice and tidy and neat. So it's not in the driveway anymore. The picture that she showed of the Ford Flex, that's what the driveway looks like right now. So that's how all this started. I will not deny that I used to have a home-based business. When I first started, I had a home-based business. And then when I met Frank, who had the furniture shop, I moved it. And it's not been at my home, it's not been registered at my house since then. Secondly, and most importantly, there's nothing in the code, and this is nothing other than just, literal meaning. There's nothing in the code that says you have to spend X amount of hours at that office in that chair, or else you have a home-based business. As a contractor who runs 4 to 5 jobs, ranging anywhere from $100,000 to this oceanfront is a $3.5 million job, my job is on the job site. So if I'm not in the office, it does not mean I don't have an office there. So, for me, 9 years of tax returns, I have a desk, I have an office. I used to have my own personal office at Natural Life. I don't have a home-based business, so I can't control what you guys want to do. I can just tell you what the facts are.
Let me ask you one more question. How many years have you had a business, or I'm sorry,
In St. Johns County?
hold on a second, occupational license from St. Johns County listing this as your...
Ever since Natural Life moved there, I think it's five years ago. They're coming up on their 5th year anniversary.
Do you have anything else, any other folks that you want to have testify?
Can I go?
Yeah, my accountant and then my customer.
Okay.
What else did I just say?
Thank you. I got it.
You'll need to be sworn in. And if your customer's going to testify, why don't you both go ahead and stand and raise your right hands and be sworn.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this case is the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? And if you could both please state your name and address into the microphone for the record.
Jennifer Weaver. business address is 3575 Southside Boulevard, 32216.
I'm Ramona Centron, and my address is 1354 Blue Heron Lane, Jacksonville Beach.
Okay. What was your name again then? No, not you. You.
Mine, Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Weaver, Wewer.
Okay.
I know you have tax returns, and I'm not his tax preparer, but I have been his accountant since January 1st of 2019. So the only thing I brought today, I can tell you, we have I work for Debbie's Accounting. We've been in business 40 years, and we've got 25, 30 employees. It is our company policy that clients come to our office, but if they can't, we often visit clients' offices. There are a lot, probably out of our 1,700 monthly clients that have small businesses, probably half of those have their home address. I'm not saying that's where they operate, but they have their home address. And it is our company policy as well that if you have your company at your house, we don't come to your house, never. So I brought you just a screenshot of Mr. Hanna's internal account with us, and it does have his, I guess that's his home address, the 36th Avenue. But we have physical address as well. And that's listed on A1A North in Ponte Vedra. I have been to this, I didn't know it's a retail store, I'm not sure it is, but I've been to that office at least 7 times. I've only sat at that desk twice because there was an office, I'm a little backwards, but that's what I can tell you is I've never been to any other location to meet Mr. Hanna to go over profit and loss statements, balance sheets, prep him for tax time, anything. And I brought a history of his account just so you could see that I've been dealing with him since January of 19. Do you want these?
Yeah, we'll take that ahead.
And that's my card. So that's a screenshot of. You can see at the bottom right-hand corner where the physical address is listed. That's where me or any of the bookkeepers that would go review with him would meet him.
Okay, I'm going to need you to walk back to the microphone when you talk, so it all gets picked up. So have you in fact ever met Mr. Hanna at this address on A1A?
Yes, at least 7 times that I can recall. We meet at least quarterly. When it gets closer to tax season, obviously we meet more often than that. And I've also spoken with the owner and founder of Natural Life for tax advising. Her name's Patricia. So I've met with her at that location as well.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? I'm trying to understand too, and this may be completely off topic, but I incorporate on average 3 new companies every single week through my company or through my work. And I'm trying to understand how it works in Jacksonville Beach, because I have clients here in Jacksonville Beach, and I certainly don't want to incorporate anybody incorrectly or list them on Sunbiz incorrectly either. So maybe I'll just hang out here and listen to the verdict, because, well, I mean, I don't want to do my job incorrectly, but
Sure.
you know, we do hundreds of new incorporations every year, and my question would be, if you have a mobile detailing service, what would they put down as their physical address? If they're a mobile car detailing service, where would they put their physical address?
Well, there's a whole bunch of factors that would need to be answered to
Okay.
address that. But listing the home address as the address for the business is an
Right.
indicia that the business or some portion of the business is conducted there.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Ma'am? And can I ask you to repeat your name again?
Yes. It's Ramona Centron, and I'm
What was the last name?
Centron,
Could you spell that for me?
Cintron.
Okay.
So as Mike mentioned, I'm a client of his. I first met Mike in 2017 when he was working in my subdivision, the Sanctuary. He was repairing homes damaged by Hurricane Matthew. In 2019, I hired Mike as my general contractor to build an addition on my home.
In 2017, or
I met him first in 2017.
you hired him what year?
In 2019. The decision to hire him was due to his excellent reputation based on his honesty, integrity, and desire to provide true quality workmanship. Our initial meeting concerning a general discussion of my project took place in my home at 1354 Blue Heron Lane North in Jacksonville Beach. Subsequent meetings to review architectural plans, project estimates, contract specifics, and construction processes were all conducted in his office or in the conference room at Natural Life, located at 820 A1A North, Suite W4 in Ponte Vedra Beach. Currently, because my project is still in process, Mike and I continue to meet occasionally in his Ponte Vedra Beach office to discuss details and issues. Additionally, I have with me today my Hannah Builders residential construction contract, which clearly differentiates Mike's business office address from his mailing address, as well as providing pertinent business contact information and email. And I have that document if you'd like to see it.
Let me see. Thank you. So is the address you mail checks to the Jacksonville Beach address?
No, I give him, I don't mail him checks, I give him checks in person.
Okay.
And that would either take place at my home or in his office.
Or his home?
No. I've never been to his home.
Okay, I misunderstood you, I'm sorry. Okay, anything else?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hannah, anything else before? I go back to
Yeah.
this?
So one thing I definitely want everyone to understand is Natural Life is not, that location is not a retail store. It never has been a retail store, nor will it ever be a retail store. I don't even know if it's zoned for retail store. A lot of people come up to it thinking it is because it looks like it. It's just a bohemian atmosphere, all open, lots of designers in there. I mean, you got to have a creative atmosphere for these creative designers. I welcome you to go visit it if you want, but it is not a retail store. It never has been, and it never will be a retail store. The building that they bought on the corner is 510 A1A North, it's the old Merrill Lynch building. It's in rezoning to become a retail store / coffee shop. If it cannot get rezoned, then we're going to move that office to that building because of the same size. That's 10,000 square feet. The new building is 10,000 square feet. And I'll be building that out. So, you know, I completely understand her point. And this, when I first started, you have to understand, when I first started my business, I knew nothing.
Mhm.
I mean, I have a bachelor's degree in civil engineering and a master's degree in structural engineering. So I knew a lot about books. But as far as running a construction business, I knew nothing. And so all I did was I registered at my house. 2006, when I started my corporation, I registered it at my house. When I got my GC license, I registered it at my house. I didn't know it had any effect on anything. I didn't have any other place of business to go to. So that's why it's there, and it's never crossed my mind since. It's never even crossed my mind, let alone like a thought like, oh, I'll just keep it as my address. So if those need to change, happy to change them. What I will not change, because I'm allowed to, I will not change the mailing address. I'm allowed to have the mailing address anywhere I want. If I wasn't allowed to have it anywhere I want, they wouldn't give you the option of having a mailing address. There's nothing in the code that says you cannot have the mailing address as your home address. So the other addresses, I'm happy to change to the 820 A1A North.
When you say not change the mailing address, what are you referring to?
My home address. I want all my mail to come to my house because I don't want to miss mail. I don't want to miss bills. Now, if you guys want to rewrite the code that says I can't have my mailing address at my house, that's a different, you can try to, I guess you can do that, but as far as I know, there's nothing that says I cannot have the mailing address. If I can't, then I'll just get a P.O. box at the UPS store across the street by Home Depot.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Ms. Beaver, do you have anything further?
Yes. Okay. Going back to this initial complaint came and it funneled all the way through the city council. So it wasn't a situation where I just happened to investigate him. It came all the way through the city council. As far as Mr. Hanna stating that Natural Life is not retail sales, I have their local business tax receipt right here that clearly says retail sales. And I'll show you that in just a second. The issue here is not Mr. Hanna using a mailing address. It is him listing the physical address. What the state requires, it cannot be his home address if he is stating that is where he is not conducting business. The physical address has to be at 820 A1A North if that's where he's saying he's conducting all business. There's no issue with a mailing address. It's the physical address that has to be removed. So, also, on any of his license and any building permits that he has recently submitted, all the way, the most recent one was in December, he is listing his business address as his home address and not 820. If there is a mailing address, he needs to list on the building permit the home address as the mailing address and the business address as 820. So, and I will hand these to you, let's bring these up to
Hold on
you.
1 second, I'm gonna give you a chance.
You're doubling down, man.
So this one here is showing their local business tax receipt, and it says retail sales at the bottom. This is also their address on Sunbiz, and then this is Mr. Hanna's Sunbiz that lists his principal address is 134, his mailing address also is 134.
Okay, that changed like 3 days after you accused me of this. So that's no longer
Okay,
there.
hold on 1 second.
These
You're gonna
right
get a
here
chance.
are his most recent building permits. The very last one is December 2nd of 2020 that lists
Mailing address.
the address
It
for
says-
him.
Would you please hold on 1 second? You're gonna get a chance. I can't listen to two people at one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't allow her to speak when you were speaking.
Okay, this is the notice of commencement with the most recent building permit from December 2nd that also lists 134 as his address. I'm gonna go back to the microphone. So again, the state requires that all businesses list and update as needed the physical address and the mailing address for all businesses. If your physical address is at 820 A1A North, Mr. Hanna needs to update that on the DBPR and also for his license. Other than that, he would have to be cited as operating a home op from 134-36.
Okay, go ahead.
There's not a building permit application that I know of that asks for your physical address. They all request a mailing address. That's why the mailing address is put on there. And I don't know what kind of Sherlock Holmes you think you are, but
Would you please
listen,
stop with
no,
the personal comments?
820 is not a retail store, and not a single penny of retail sales has ever been sold out of that store. I mean, I guess you think that I'm lying. I don't care if you don't believe me.
You want to see what St. John's County said?
Yeah, it's not a retail store. They have a retail license. Of course they have a retail license. I mean, they're a wholesale company. They design products at that location. They have them made in any one of 5 or a dozen different countries. They ship them over here. They warehouse them in their warehouse up in the north side, 60,000 square feet, and it's shipped from there. They're about a $65 million company, wholesale sales, and they do about $10 million a year through internet retail sales. The internet orders are taken online and they're shipped out of the north side. There's not they might even have a sign on the outside of the window that says this is not a retail store, but I don't, you can say whatever you want, you can believe whatever you want, and this isn't even part of the issue, so I don't know why I'm arguing it. That's not a retail store. I don't know, if it is a retail store, you walk in there, leave right now and go there and show me the cash register. Show me the counter. Show me the products on the shelf for purchase with a price tag on them. I mean, I can tell you the sky is blue and you'll tell him, no, it's purple. And huh? So
this isn't about her.
It's about not believing the truth.
You just need to tell me what facts that you can testify to.
The facts are, if it matters, which I don't think it does, that's not a retail store. There's nothing, I know what a retail store is. I've built many of them. That's not a retail store. Okay, so let's set that straight. Natural Life designs and sells products that other people sell in their retail store. Natural Life also sells their own products online. Pull it up on your phone, naturallife.com. And they ship those products out of the warehouse on the north side. We used to have a retail store at Town Center. It's a 2,000 square foot store. Retail is dead, so we did not renew our 5-year lease. Instead, we're going to open up a coffee shop / retail store at 510 A1A North. So, again, if it matters, and just so you know the truth, you can say whatever you want. A piece of paper doesn't mean anything. That's not a retail store. They're a wholesale company. They sell their products to other retail stores. I'm just trying to tell you what the truth is, what the situation is. Why would I lie about this when it's so easily verified? Just walk in there and say, hey, are you at a retail store? No, we design wholesale products, and we're going to open a retail store, but we have retail online. It's just silly to even discuss this. So that's not a retail store. Back to my physical address. Within 3 days of her bringing the Sunbiz to my attention, it changed. Go pull it up right now. It says 820. I'll change DDPR if that's what's required. I don't care. It's not like I'm advertising on a blimp that, hey, my business, come to 134-36 and let me build your house. It's words on a computer screen. They will change. Secondly, yes, she did tell me that I was not allowed to have my home address as a mailing address. That's what got me so fired up in the beginning. She said, you are not allowed to have your home address as your mailing address. which is false. Next, every building permit application wants your mailing address. They don't want your physical address because they know contractors generally aren't there a whole lot because they're always on the job site. I'm a one-man show. I do a lot of work. Show me where it says I have to be at my desk at the office X amount of hours. I'm a employee of Natural Life. That's undeniable. You've got 9 years of tax returns. I don't know what else you want. You can make whatever judgment you want, but what I will not do is I'm not going to apply for a home-based business because I don't have one. So you can make up the reality that you want. I'm going to go by my reality. And if you want me to change these other addresses online, DVPR, Sunbid's already changed. I'll change them. I didn't even know about DVPR, so I'll change that. I have no problem with that at all.
Okay, Ms. Cintron, did you want to say anything else?
I was just going to
You had
tell
your
you
hand
that I
raised,
could,
yes.
that I could verify what he's saying about Natural Life. And the numerous times I've been there in the past year and a half, I have never seen anything for sale of that sort. And I was interested in products that were there, but they're not for sale. He's saying it is a design center.
Okay, here's what I'm going to do. Based on your representation, Mr. Hannon, that you're willing to change your address on your DPR contractor licensing, I'm going to continue this case till our next hearing date, which is a month, would be the 4th Wednesday next month.
It's too late for me to get the notice of hearing out for next month, but it would be for June.
Okay,
So-
I'm going to continue it, and if you make that change, I'm not going to make any findings at this point.
Yeah, so-
I'm going to continue this hearing.
So I
Just
want
listen
to
to me 1 second, okay? If you change it to your listing of your business address, that consistently with what you say your business address is, with DPR, and if there's anything else out there, websites that list your address, your business address, as the residential address here in Jacksonville Beach, then essentially there will be shown as compliance, and you won't have to do anything else, and this will go away.
So what I want to do the time out is I want to get a list, 1, 2, 3, of what you want me to change. Sunbiz has already changed. So we want DVPR. We want, what else?
Can I get my recommendations and then that?
Sure, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead, and I apologize, that she's correct, I'm supposed to wait and hear her recommendation first. But go ahead.
Okay, the first would be to provide a lease or a sublease that he's subleasing that space for Hannah Builders out of Natural Life to be provided when we continue in June, either to apply for the home occupation or to update his addresses with Sunbiz, which he stated he has already done. DVPR is for his builder's license with the state. He needs to update the physical address as well on there. If he has not already done so, which I believe he has as far as the local business taxes, update or get with the clerk's office to pay any of those and update any addresses as well with them. And have all this done by June.
Is that agreeable?
Yeah, so I'll put
DPR.
my physical address. Here's the thing about my website, and don't laugh. I don't even know how to log in. That's why I'll try to find a way to get it to log in, but literally it has not been touched in 11 years. So I would like to just terminate it altogether because all the jobs are old and I don't get any business from my website, but I'll try to find a way to get on there and change the address. Actually, I'll add the address, okay? I'm allowed to list my mailing address and my business address, okay? Okay. So DVPR website,
Sunbiz.
Sunbiz is already done. I tried to tell you that. So to
Well,
me,
she-
I'll
we're still here now. She'll go back and check.
I'll provide a lease, but to me, 9 years of tax returns is pretty evident that I'm an employee of Natural Life and I have a desk there. So it offends me greatly that I was accused of not having a desk there.
Well, it's not that you have a desk, it's that Hannah Builders has a sublease from the same leasing
That's
company
fine.
from Natural.
It's a verbal.
Not
Right now,
a,
it's verbal. So if you need it on paper, we'll have it on paper.
Just put something on paper.
But it's allowed to be verbal. Just so you know, legally, it's allowed to be verbal.
no.
It is. It is allowed
Not
to
if
be
you're,
verbal.
if you're using it as your physical address. We need to see that
Okay,
you,
I'll-
Hannah Builders,
Fine.
is operating.
If you
out
want
there.
words on a piece of paper, I'll put words on a
Well, it
piece
needs
of
to
paper
be
for
a
you.
lease from the leasing company,
No, it
that you're
doesn't.
subleasing that
It's supposed to
portion.
be from Natural Life. It'd be a sublease from Natural Life.
Okay,
Correct.
Yeah, I don't have to go to the
Okay.
people that Natural Life is leasing from. So also, my office is probably going to move to 510 A1A whenever that moves. So, you know,
Well,
I'm
again,
sure
that's, once it's not shown as the
Yeah.
address, the residential address in Jacksonville Beach,
so
you're, again, with these other entities.
So let me
that
ask you
listed,
this.
The importance of changing with them is
It's-
between you and them at that point.
it's perfectly legal for somebody to have their business in Pakistan and have a Florida corporation and do business in Jacksonville Beach. What, I mean, do you get where I'm going? I mean, what if I listed my business address in Pakistan? Are you
Okay.
gonna go there to verify? I'm being facetious, but I'm being realistic.
Yeah, I'm asking you,
Yeah.
I suggested if you were willing to do these
Yeah,
things
I'm
that we
willing to
talked
do all
about,
that, all
then we're gonna be square.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know,
That's
if you're
totally
willing to
fine.
do those, and that's gonna,
Yeah, I mean, where do builders conduct their business? On the job site?
all kinds of places.
All kinds of places. I could probably give you a list of at least 12 builders that I know whose truck is their office. They have an office somewhere, but, I mean, this is ridiculous. So
Well,
I'll change
it's
all
not
those
ridiculous.
things, I'll change all those things, and I would like to communicate with you, Nikki, by email, so I don't have to waste 2 hours of my day to come here, because I have a lot of stuff that I needed to do today. So if we can get this rectified through email, then I won't have to come here, and you just tell me, yep, you're all good.
Yeah, I'm sure if you provide the appropriate documentation to her by email, that'll take care of it.
So, okay, so these tax returns were kind of pointless then, right? So,
No.
you're looking at an employee there. and
Well,
have
the
a-
fact that you're an employee there doesn't mean that you don't do business somewhere else. Because you told me that your business, you do other business besides working there.
No, I run.
I'm an attorney,
The agreement,
I could
The
be
agreement-
employed by
the
the
agreement,
city of Jacksonville Beach.
The agreement
And I
is-
have an office somewhere else where I'm actually seeing clients.
the agreement is, since they can't afford to pay me a full-time salary to be a full-time contractor, I'm an in-house contractor, I have a desk there, I do a ton of work for them, so I have an office there. And the agreement is I can run my business, Hannah Builders, out of my place there. I have access to the kitchen to entertain clients, I have access to the conference room for the nice pretty big screen TV. So,
Again, that's the kind of information that we're talking about, you know, she talked about a lease. But again, the mere fact that you're an employee, when you have a whole separate business and ability to do business, doesn't mean that, you know, you aren't doing business somewhere else besides that location.
well, yeah, okay, so I don't know.
I understand the point.
I don't know if the
you're
owner
making.
emailed you yet, but she said she was gonna email you. But I'll write a lease, I mean, there's no problem with that. I mean, it's, again, words on a piece of paper, it's this, what most of this legal stuff is about.
All right, anything else?
no.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Hammond.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to move on to our last case. Let's go back. This is case number 2079, John Howard Sheffield, 1836 Birchwood Road. Mr. Sheffield is not present today. I haven't had any physical contact with Mr. Sheffield. A notice of hearing was mailed by certified mail and also posted physically at the address. This case is a continuance from not having an active building permit for an accessory structure, and that the accessory structure also exceeds 15 feet in height. As you can see, when the case was initiated back in August, this is a picture, and the current picture that was just taken on April 26th shows that the structure is still non-compliant. During our last hearing, an order was issued that stated, as of March 2nd, that if the property was not in compliance within 14 days from the date of execution, which is to reduce the height of the accessory structure to 15 feet in height or less, or to remove the accessory structure in its entirety, the respondent would be issued a 250-day fine per day until compliance was achieved.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay. You have correctly recited some of the history on this. There were actually two orders entered. There was an order entered back in October of 2020 that required compliance within 30 days, and that compliance did not occur. So this matter came back on February 24th. An order was entered following that hearing, essentially allowing him 14 additional days from the entry of, or the execution of that order to remove the structure, and it specifically said that failing to do that, fines would start to accrue at $250 per day. The execution of that order occurred on March 2nd of 2021, and as of today, that means, and within the 14 days following that, there was no compliance. So there have been 43 days since that time that the fine has been accruing at $250 a day.
Right.
And the total right now, according to my calculation, is $10,750, and that will continue to accrue going forward at $250 per day until compliance is achieved.
Correct, that was my recommendation.
So I will enter an order memorializing the fact that as of the date 14 days from the execution of that last order, that no compliance occurred, and therefore fines have accrued since that time, and will continue to accrue until compliance is achieved. And I think you would want to consider recording that order, because it becomes a lien then on his property.
Correct.
Until compliance occurs.
My other recommendation is that we revisit this possibly either monthly or quarterly until it comes into compliance. So which would you rather, monthly or quarterly?
Quarterly, I think, would be good.
Okay, and if it comes into compliance before then, I'll just bring it up during our next.
Right, because I would then need to enter an order that would stop the fines.
Correct.
Memorializing compliance has occurred.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Very good. Anything else?
Nope,
Today?
that is it.
That was
That
enough for
concludes,
today.
good. That concludes all the cases for today.
Okay, we will be adjourned.
Thank you.